Hi, my name is Diana Britton. I'm the managing editor of wealthmanagement.com. I'm here with Tim Welsh, president and CEO of Nexus Strategy, and Davis Janowski, our senior technology editor. We're going to have a great debate about decumulation technology and platforms that are building around how to help advisors serve clients that are in the decumulation phase. So Davis, let's start with you. I know you know a lot about this technology. You've reported on it for us a lot. What's the deal? Is it hype or not?
No, to me, it's not hyped enough. You have, starting at the very bottom rung that sadly most advisors really don't care about, the mass of the population. We've got 45 million Americans that have access to a retirement plan that don't use it, and another 45 million that don't even have access to it. So that's 90 million of our population. 300 million. So we're going to come into, in the not too distant future, in an absolute crisis of no retirement savings. And then when you look on top of that, you have an advisor population that is largely dismissive thus far of planning. And they're the academic side of this calls it longevity planning. They're not taking into account that they're going to have relatively healthy clients who might be in retirement almost as long as they worked, and there's a very long runway there to provide for all their needs, income and general. Another huge problem is the lack of long-term care planning, and many advisors I talk to say, gosh, it's a pain, it's a thorn, and it reduces my bottom line because it's such a huge upfront cost, so why am I going to be a component of it? Yeah, they may need it. You've got those issues, and only a handful of providers taking it very seriously. The accumulation side, stalwarts and big firms in the space, they have given lip service to it. They have some modules, but they have not invested in it in a way, and not invested in education of advisors in a way that I think is going to be a huge problem. So I think maybe the handful that I know of providers in this space will become super successful because they're going to be widely adopted. But to me, it's crazy with the tidal wave of boomers coming that's not been thought about.
Well, I'll agree with you for once that there is a retirement savings crisis in America. No doubt about that. Planning has been overlooked, and most civilians don't have assets to be able to save them. So to me, that's more of a savings problem, not a decumulation problem. On the other hand, advisors, when they look at their typical client, they are wealthy, high net worth individuals, and they never run out of money. They never spend down their retirement assets. There's great research by Kitsis in his blog in terms of the fact that most advisors' clients don't spend their retirement money. So the technology, to me, should be really focused more again on, I know you don't like this word, accumulation. I get people to save it, make it easy. Let's attack the problem maybe from the retirement plan side and put in automatic withdrawals, gamification, round up the dollar on your credit card, put that into your 401k, all sorts of ways to encourage people to save. But I think this emerging group of technology platforms, I'm sure they do a fantastic job, but really it's a math problem. And I think everyone's very good at solving math problems. What we need to solve is the human problem.
No, I'm going to disagree with you there. I've done some reading on academics of this too, and there's a factor that I think a lot of advisors aren't taking into account, that I think the investors are going to become a lot more educated, and I think these coming waves of retirees are going to pay a lot more attention to the math that their advisors are doing for them in planning this. And yes, maybe there are an awful lot of wealthy folks that won't ultimately run out of money, but you know what will happen to them? They'll be worrying about whether they're going to run out of money. They're going to do the math, or they're going to find some AI program that will tell them, hey, review my advisor's plan for me, review the order in which I took Social Security, review my choices for Medicare, and they're going to find, my advisor wasn't as much of an expert as I thought he was. And you go to them with the findings are that, hey, I could have saved this, and this.
But what you're describing ultimately is more behavioral finance related. It's all about recalibrating.
You're absolutely right.
Well, of course I'm right. Of course I'm right. It's behavioral finance related around risk. What is the definition of risk? Is risk volatility? Or is risk the problem I may not have the resources I need when I need them? That is a different approach. And I agree, there are some interesting tools that do bring more of a behavioral into how you...
Such as?
Like GMO has this great platform called That's needs-based optimization. Bringing the goals in with the cash flows of the plan and turning it into a portfolio construction optimization tool, which is a much more bridging the gap, I think, is what you're really pointing to, is that we don't have planning to portfolio construction and management versus
that's a
spend
piece
the money.
of it, but the folks that, and I think there's actually going to be a specialty in this whole part of it, because whether it's marketing hype that these small number of firms put out showing the difference in how much more you would have using their type of software versus the incumbent software, or the fact that a lot of advisors that have used this call it planning light. I think there's going to be a big need, and you're going to see a big change in ultimate client expectations of this, because they're going to start asking about income solutions.
Well, if you talk to Joe Duran, who's presented here at the Wealth Stack, he said, why are we solving a 30-year problem?
Yes.
People are not going to retire like they normally do. They
Yes.
go back and work again. So let's not
he made
focus
the
on
point.
that. Focus on the next 2 months, the next 2 years, and that's how you can solve clients' issues, get them on track. So bringing in decumulation software, how to spend it in the year 2070 is not going to help much, because who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah,
We're all
but
going to
it's
be
not-
living in
it's
robots
not.
on Mars.
All
we
three
won't
of
even need
these-
to spend our money.
All three of these that I looked at, it doesn't go to that level of depth, or you're looking at what's right in front of you constantly, and it takes downturns into consideration. And it's real time, so that they are able to go back and see. Yes, they can look out that far, but it's much more about, and that's another aspect of this, is the stickiness with the advisor, that instead of the quarterly or the annual plan review, they're able to look at this constantly. And then there is a market downturn. Hey, I'm worried. Tell me what we're going to do, advisor. They can look and say, well, maybe we should adjust this.
You know what, Davis, I think you need to build more for today. I think that might change your point.
Okay.
All right. Diana, what do you think?
Oh, this is a tough one, guys. I mean, I do think that this industry is just too focused on the accumulation phase and not focused enough on the decumulation phase. And I think that, while you say that all advisors' clients are wealthy, they won't need to decumulate. I think that the industry, over the years is going to shift to serve smaller, less wealthy clients. And so I think that their advisors are going to need some of these tools.
But if they have any money, they can't spend it, right? So
Yeah, but that, this is another aspect of why I think it needs some focus. If nothing else, this is the due owed the rest of the population by the industry, the trickle down technology aspect that the smart folks in our industry can solve for this, for the wealthy. Some of that technology is going to be making its way downstream. And so far, there's no one other than some of these huge auto IRAs, which a lot of people are kind of shaking their heads that they're actually going to work or be able to provide anything.
Like the states?
Yeah. So I think that a lot of the tech could trickle down to them if some of these things get solved, or at least help. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the underlying technology looks like, but I think, Davis, I think you win this one. I do think that it's a problem that needs to be solved for, and that, more of the industry needs to focus on. So.
Thank you, Diana. I agree with your finding.
I just
100%.
100% as well.
There you have it. Thank you for joining us on this Hype or Not, and we'll catch you next time.